Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to be talking about episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I am your host, Brent. Now we're going to talk about episode 5 today of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and you really can't talk about it without watching it. So please, if you haven't, go watch it and then come back to the video. Now before we get started, I'm going to ask you to do one thing and one thing only. Please subscribe. Helps me out, lets the channel grow, lets you know when I drop new videos. Hit that bell if you want that instant notification if you're one of those people who just can't get enough of BK's Bullets. And here we go. So, this episode, I think, was okay. It had some hype moments, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as strong as last week. And in a series like this, when you're reviewing episodes, you really can't, compare it to anything else other than the episode that came before it, right? Like, it's its own thing, it's unfair. And when we're presented this way, like cookie cutter, it's kind of a weird thing. For me, for this episode, the pacing was a little weird, especially after last episode. We've been on this journey with Bucky and Sam and what's his name? Baron Zemo with Zemo, Bucky, Sam, and Zemo looking for the Flag Smashers for the last 2 to 3 episodes, and we've been all over the world. And I didn't realize that confrontation had kind of come to a head, or really was going to stall out in the next episode. Watching last week's, I thought they were going to hunt these people down, or much less that John Walker was going to go hunt them down. And the whole kind of thrust of the main story, or at least what we thought was the main story, which is, the Flag Smashers being the antagonists for the series, just kind of stalled out here. Definitely stalled out. So I think because of that, and because we've been seeing it as these are the antagonists for the series, the villains per se, that for them to stall out really does this episode a disservice. Now, it did start off very strong. Now, you had immediately the resolution from last week's episode's cliffhanger with John Walker murdering that Flag Smasher with the shield, which I think if this was an R-rated show, if this was a Netflix show, you would have seen that guy's you would have, I don't know where he hit him, if he hit him on the chest or the neck or the head, but certainly that vibranium shield, which is in the MCU probably the most indestructible metal. It's not quite a sharp edge, it's not quite blunt either. He would have definitely broken bones, broken through the flesh. I'm sure it was a pretty gruesome sight to see somebody's head cracked open or the neck pretty much decapitated, whatever it ended up being. Really, really gruesome. So I definitely get the reaction of, oh no, this guy is done as Captain America. Absolutely. And I don't want that guy to be Captain America either. So I understand that. And we immediately got the resolution from the characters that we are following, that we love, Bucky and Sam, following up on that right away, dude, you're done. Give us a shield. We had this amazing fight sequence at the beginning of the episode, and I think that's where, right as that ended, that's where the episode stalled. I was like, well, this is a great beginning, but where's it going to go from here? Because that really felt like maybe that would have been the crescendo of the episode. Again, I was talking about pacing of this show a few episodes back, about how normally you have your cliffhanger or your big fight scene towards the end of an episode so that you can have this cliffhanger right after the peak of the action and stuff like that. In this one, the peak of the action is in the very beginning. And then we get a long episode of great storytelling and great acting, don't get me wrong. But it just, after the ride we've been on, this was definitely the downhill. And with one episode left, I don't know if we're going to get another uphill and downhill on this roller coaster that is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Usually if you follow a movie, let's take Godzilla vs. Kong, for example. Godzilla vs. Kong, not a great movie objectively, but they have their action structured as in a 3-hill roller coaster, if you will, right? You've got the first hill, 3 or 4 hills. First hill will be, Godzilla attacking the plant. Then you got Godzilla attacking Kong on the boat. Then you got the whole like hill of Godzilla going under, or not Godzilla, Kong going underground into the world below and all that weird creature stuff. And then you have the big hill at the very end of Godzilla versus Kong, and then the downhill is them teaming up against Mechagodzilla, right? So that there's your action peak right there towards the end of the movie, and the movie ends, and you're left going, well, that was a dumb movie, but at least it was entertaining. I watched these monsters fight, whatever, destroy all of Hong Kong. Okay. Falcon is not doing that, or at least I don't feel like they're going to have enough time to do it. Now, much less, it looks like Falcon is opening up the case at the end of the episode at the same time the GRC is getting attacked. Last that I checked, it takes a couple hours to fly from where I'm at in Florida to Virginia, much less New York City, to Louisiana where he's at. It's got to be at least 4 or 5 hours commercial, right? So I don't know how he's going to save the day there. Or maybe they're going to hold him hostage for like a whole day or something like that so that Falcon can fly up there. But yeah, the pacing, I get that they wanted to do the Elijah stuff. I don't know why they did it in this episode, or I don't know why they structured such a long break between action here. It felt like maybe that we should have gone directly from the end of the last episode, hunting John Walker. Maybe half the episode is that. Take a little bit of a break, get the whole, Bucky and Sam stuff on the boat, and then go immediately into the cliffhanger of the GRC's here the Flag Smashers are at the GRC to F them up, right? That may have been a little bit episode. You get a lot less of the middle part, which I really did enjoy watching, but just in terms of last episode I was so hyped. This episode ended and I was like, you're going to do that to me? You didn't even show me the suit? And I went back and checked, and as Sam is opening up the case from Wakanda, there's like one smidge, and you can only see if the case is opening up, it's open up this much, and all you can make out is like white stripes. So I was like, is it red, white, and blue? Is it blue? Is it red and white? Our assumption is he's going to become Captain America in the next episode. Fantastic. But what's he going to look like? Is he going to look like Falcap from Rick Remender's run and Nick Spencer's run, or is he going to look like something completely different? Who knows? So let's get to the stuff I did like in the episode. I really liked the focus on Isaiah Bradley and talking about him and his journey. And this is the Black Captain America that was experimented on and then thrown in jail. So I have read Truth now. I'm glad I read it last week when I did, and I have a review up on it on the channel. So if you want to go watch what that story was pretty much based on, my review of it, me talking about it, go watch that there. This was a pretty loaded episode in terms of like race relations and stuff because of the Isaiah Bradley story. And to be frank, they're absolutely right. America was not ready for a Black Captain America. It doesn't mean that it doesn't need it, right? I'm all for Falcon becoming Cap. All for it. But they kind of showcase that with the Isaiah Bradley story. They did change some stuff from the comics. I got no issues with that because it makes it more tragic, I guess, to have Isaiah go rescue his buddies from this camp, only to have them die later on. Whereas, like in the Truth book, all his guys die while they're on a mission. They're going to save the a concentration camp in Germany, saving a bunch of Jews and that are being experimented on because the Nazis are trying to create their own version of Captain America. That's what happens in the comic books. This one takes all that aside and I think kind of sets it a little bit later in time maybe. So maybe in the MCU, the World War II was over by the time they started these experiments on Isaiah and his brethren, his cadre of soldiers there. Who knows? Is that a story I'd like to see? Certainly. I think the team behind Falcon and the Winter Soldier, if they want to go down that route, if Marvel wants to do that, I think the team that's doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the team that should tell that story, and I think you should tell it in a long form television series. Is it made for Disney Plus? Probably not. They're trying to be like TV PG all the time, and that's a really mature, really dark storyline. So I don't know how you would fit that on a Disney Plus channel. Just me. I want to see it. Doesn't mean that they're going to do it, right? Maybe all we get is that, the 10 minutes in this episode where we're talking about it. And then you have counterpoint to that with Sam talking with his sister about what it means to be Captain America. And his sister is saying, are you going to let someone else tell you how to think, how to feel? Just because it happened to him doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't take up the shield or you should feel bad about it. Certainly there should be some guilt there, but it wasn't Sam doing it. It is the government doing it, and certainly I think Sam's right. The world needs to know. This was terrible. But at the same time, I'm kind of with his sister. Like, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be Cap. Maybe it means that you should be Cap even more. So that was really cool. He had the training montage with Bucky, and them kind of coming to terms like, oh, we are friends. All right, go do your work. And then Sam, like, doing his counseling stuff that he was doing when we met him in the Winter Soldier movie. Here's a wounded veteran, Bucky. He's got a lot of PTSD. He was literally programmed to kill people and has been unprogrammed and has a lot of these, things in his head. And Sam being like, making amends is not about saying you're sorry. It's about helping people and being of service and making them feel better. It's not about making you feel better. And that was really touching and moving. And it was like, oh yeah, Falcon, Sam has the skills needed to relate to people on a level. And he even, we saw him try to do that in the last episode as well. Because he was like, I've talked to these types of people before. I can talk Carly down. So that was cool. And then what I really like the most about this episode is the montage of Sam putting in work all by himself. He's running, he's doing the flips, he's throwing the shield, he's trying to put himself in situations where he may not know exactly where the shield's at, and he's trying to catch it here and catch it there, and you see him miss, you see him fail, because Sam is not a super soldier. He's a human being. He's peak physical human being. He's working himself out, but he's not a super soldier. So he's got to put in that work to have those reflexes, to have that timing, to have that muscle memory, that knowledge, that skill. He's got to build it up himself. And to see Sam put in that work to wield the shield that we didn't see John Walker put in. We didn't, we saw Steve put it in like the first movie a little bit. But again, those two guys, John Walker didn't have the serum until a little bit later. We saw that. But those two guys had the aid of the serum. And Falcon is doing this without the serum so far. I think he's going to stay that way. But, I wouldn't mind it if Sam got a little dose of it. But, again, he's proven that he doesn't necessarily need it. And he took on John Walker in the beginning of the episode with Bucky's help. But using his wings, using his jetpack in every way he could. And he still put up a really good fight against a super soldier, John Walker, that was like enraged at that point. His arm. That was really gruesome, but it just showed how desperate, like that triangle of these two guys trying to wrench this shield away from one man because he doesn't deserve it, because it means so much to these two people for different reasons, was a really powerful scene and really, really fun fight to watch. But I think this montage of Sam putting in the work hopefully sets everybody at ease and sets the table for, like, Sam deserves it and we all agree on it, and he's going to be the next Captain America. So, with that being said, I can't wait for next episode. It looks like we're going to go head-to-head with the Flag Smashers and John Walker, who we saw at the end of the episode is making his own, shield, per se, with his medals and stuff. He's not going to be left out. He is not going to be left out. And he's motivated because he lied to LeVar Watkins' family, saying, oh yeah, I killed the person that took your son's life. No, he didn't. He's going to go get Carly. And that's fueling him in his rage, his remorse, and his regret, right? That he lied to these people that are supposedly mean so much to him. But at the same time, like I could tell, I think maybe it was LeVar's sister, the younger woman in that scene, was looking at John Walker like, I don't think you're quite telling the truth about this here. You're striking me a little funny. So I think, yeah, it's all going to come to an head. So can't wait. Hopefully we see Falcon wearing his new Captain America outfit or whatever the whole episode. Maybe that mid-season trailer that we got a couple days ago was all edited and colored red and white and gray to be Falcon's colors, and what we get next week is the red, white, and blue wings and the shield and all that. So should be very interesting. Not as hyped at the end of this episode, but I really did like it. There were a lot of things to enjoy about it. But again, they're just bucking this narrative trend, and I think it's throwing me off a bit. But I would recommend this to people because it is really like deep down at its core, it's not about the Flag Smashers. It is at a surface level, but what it's really about is America ready for Sam Wilson to be Captain America, and is Sam Wilson ready to be Captain America? And that's really what the emotional story is for this entire series. So let me know down below what you guys thought of this episode, and we will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.